Wife of 6 years cheated. Stay or go? My wife and I have been married for about 6 years, and she just relocated to another state to pursue a master's degree. We had intended on me following her, but in the end we mutually agreed that the security of my work plus insurance plus just purchasing a home outweighed the advantages of relocating. We had gone long distance while dating and had both overcome the challenges. One of her former housemates moved out at the beginning of the year, and she found a new roommate to replace her, a 22-year-old Spanish woman who was teaching in the same program as my wife. My wife would sometimes make remarks to me about how gorgeous he is, which was not unusual for her. We were discussing one day when she casually inquired how I felt about an open relationship. This was utterly unexpected, but she had formed a tiny crush on this man and essentially wanted permission to act on it. I replied no because I had no intention of leaving our marriage and because I adore my wife. I believe that was the end of it when she said all right and that she would follow my preferences. A week later, just before I was going to travel down and see her for the weekend, she asked whether I was sure about my stance, and I emphasized that I had no desire in an open marriage. We had a reasonably significant disagreement after that, and she eventually said she didn't want me to come visit again, which grieved me since I believed this would be an opportunity to work on our relationship. After that, things were a little difficult, but she agreed to come up for Valentine's Day weekend. She spent the whole weekend messaging her new roommate, which was a massive red flag. I sneaked a glimpse of her phone a few times since I'm the jealous kind, and I was horrified by what I saw. I was getting texts like "I love your eyes" and "Can we try it on a chair next time?" I sat for a day thinking about it before confronting her the following morning. It turned out they'd been having for a few weeks, and there were a lot more nasty messages, and there was no way they were going to tell me without my finding out. She also said that she didn't want me to come since she didn't want things to be uncomfortable with her and the man as housemates. The conversation eventually devolved into her not feeling noticed by me in the 5 years we'd been married, and our life was basically non-existent, but she discovered again with this guy that she is actually a very person, and that he provided her with the companionship that I hadn't been able to provide. It turns out I hadn't been paying attention to what she was saying the entire time. She told me she felt confined, that she wished she could go around the globe and see the world, but I was hearing but never truly listening to her because I didn't want to give up the security of our existing existence. I had always intended to accomplish these things someday, but I wanted to make sure we were financially secure enough to do it first. As a result, here I am. I understood I was the one who had pushed her to this point. She has and continues to tell me that she loves me and will always love me, and that her relationship with this man is merely lustful with no sentiments. I'm at a loss on what to do. I apologized and promised to try hard to improve and be a better person/husband, and she still wants things to work out with me. I'm simply not sure whether I'm digging myself a bigger hole by staying with her. We've been together for 10 years, nearly 6 of which we've been married, which is almost 1/3 of my life, and something about that prevents me from objectively declaring that I'm done. My mental health has been suffering this week since every waking second that we aren't communicating, my mind races to "Are they having? And what is she doing?" That kind of thing. I'm going to visit a therapist about this later this week since I don't know what else to do. Story 2. My wife cheated on me and left for another guy last year, came back, and now I don't know if I want her around. This is the first time I've utilized a forum for this problem, and the first time I've used Reddit at all. I believe I came here to discover a feeling of community. For almost a year, I've been dealing with my wife's adultery. I don't want to bring it up with friends or family since I don't want to irritate them. I've been seeking for a location where I can talk about my troubles with individuals who have been in similar circumstances and share my experiences in a manner that doesn't come off as pitiful. So thank you for extending a warm welcome to me into your community. I wish to find some meaning in my life and to be able to provide some quality to the lives of others. Here's the backstory. I'm 28 years old and have been married to this lady for 7 years. Yes, I'm married too young, we have a 5-year-old kid. I cherish and adore my kid, yet a part of me still loves my wife. 2019 Memorial Day, my wife had the day off, so I had to work. We had gone on a date the night before. We went to the pub, had some drinks, spoke, strolled around, and had. Everything seemed to be okay. The next day, I went to work, Memorial Day. My kid was at my in-laws since she had spent the night there the night before, so my wife and I could go on a date. My wife had gone shopping, picked up the child, and bought a new car seat for her when I arrived home. My wife gave me a kiss. I said hello to honey, we spoke about the day, and then we went to see a movie with her family. We arrived home late and put the child to bed. My wife walked outside to smoke after the child had gone to bed. Because I don't smoke, I sat on the sofa. She came in, we got ready for bed, and then she said we needed to chat. She confessed to me that she had kissed someone that day. She went out with a man she knew and they kissed. She was in love with her friend's spouse in addition to making out with him. She said that she and her friend's spouse had no physical relationship, swore that she never did and still says she didn't, although I assume that is a lie. She said that she would be staying with her parents for a bit. We spoke the whole night. She went to a concert with a buddy the following day. She ran into the man she had kissed before and ended up spending the night with him. I was annihilated. I was really disgusted with myself. She eventually moved out and began living with her parents. She remained for almost 7 weeks while continuing to visit this man. But she alternated between 1. Making things up for her family and 2. Wanting to be alone. This party went on for 7 weeks, with ups and downs, and no, until I became tired of it about this time last year. She was scheduled to come over one night when I was at a baseball game with my kid. She was supposed to grab what she wanted and mark what she couldn't obtain so I could arrange for her to pick it up. She hadn't come by when I got home. I phoned and found out why she wasn't. She said that it was because it was difficult. I blew it. I told her I didn't care if it was difficult, that I didn't care whether it was difficult for her or the piece of SH she was engaged with. I told her to come over the following day and stick her anything she wanted or I'd throw it out, and I placed the divorce papers on the coffee table for her to see when she did come over. She came over and stuck her stuff on me, but the tone shifted. She suddenly felt compelled to go to work. Things developed, with a couple more hiccups with this man and her sending him some of his items via the mail and shutting off communication. She began visiting her own therapist, and we both began marital therapy. For the first 8 or 9 months, we did well. I was relieved to see my family and her again. We spoke for a long time. She informed me about 4 individuals with whom she had an improper interaction throughout our marriage. Not entirely physical, but still spent time with and conversing with while I was working. I told her I was glad she was clean and that I wanted to give it a go regardless. However, things are beginning to turn sour. We're a year away from D-Day, and I'm still undecided about what I want to do. Things have been quite difficult recently. Our has decreased, we aren't dating as much, and the lack of trust is starting to bother me. She almost never initiates texting or phone calls. For the last month or so, I've been the one to initiate. I'm not sure. It just doesn't seem right. It doesn't feel right. I've been thinking about what I want out of life, and I suppose I'm hanging on because she meets some of my requirements. But I doubt she'll be able to meet the more crucial ones. I believe that her lack of trust and respect is a huge issue. It's something I'm not sure I'll ever be able to get over. Her is excellent, but I don't want to stay in this relationship if I'm not getting it. I'm still contemplating what I want for my future. And I've understood that I don't have to regard her as a vital part of it. I believe that if I could put this behind me, with or without her, I would be able to concentrate on what I need to focus on for success. I feel like the dread of things going wrong every day, the fear, her unwillingness to speak about the problem or take initiative in healing our relationship is tiring me and keeping me from being the person I know I can be. I've been thinking about what I want out of life, and I suppose I'm hanging on because she meets some of my requirements. But I doubt she'll be able to meet the more crucial ones. I'm not concerned that I'll be alone forever. I joined Tinder and Bumble last month and met a couple females. I had arranged a meeting with a lovely lady and was messaging a few others. However, when the date night arrived, I realized I couldn't go through with it. I canceled and erased all of the numbers and apps. I've been thinking about why I feel the need for confirmation. In my relationship, I believe certain needs are not being satisfied. So the awful part was that I was on the verge of being a jerk and cheating on her. However, it also demonstrated to me that I would be okay if she were not around in terms of my bodily demands. But I'm concerned about my child. I'm concerned about who my wife will invite over. What impact will this have on my child? Even after all of this, I would still miss my wife. But I nearly get the impression that she is a better buddy with advantages for me. All of this stems from a lack of trust, communication, and excitement. I'm not sure what I'm searching for on this site. I believe all I need are eyes to view the narrative and ears to give me feedback. IDK. I've been journaling anyhow, so why not do it in a setting where I can engage with others? Thank you for your time, gentlemen.